What is going on, people? Welcome to the YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in with me. And what I wanted to do today essentially is just to really quickly give you a bit of an overview of who I am, my background, and just a little bit of context really, because I think that you see people on YouTube or social media generally, and you just wonder, like, how have you got to where you are? What do you do? What's your background? So I wanted to make this video just to make an introduction, if nothing else. So before I do go in to some detail, it would be greatly appreciated if you could like the video and subscribe for some more content in the future around sort of sales, marketing, client acquisition, and general sort of business development. So to dive in, as I say, my name is Ashley Cannon, and I am a business owner, and have sort of started and scaled a couple of businesses over the last sort of 10 years. I'll start right back from the beginning though, because I guess I was always I thought I was always destined for the military, right? So when I was like 14, 15, 16, the big goal for me was to join the Royal Marines, and I spent a lot of time back then sort of training and getting fit, getting into shape for my sort of ultimate goal to go and do that. And I got a part-time job, and at 15 years old, kind of discover this thing called money, don't you? So I kind of transitioned from wanting to go and join the Royal Marines, and actually stayed in this part-time job for a long time. Now, like most sort of 15, 16-year-olds, worked in a restaurant, started on, doing the washing up and helping in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. But everything that I kind of did, I wanted to be stuck in and be involved, and that's, I guess, the owners of the business kind of saw that, and I slowly sort of progressed through the business at a fairly young age, sort of like 17, 18, 19, come up in the restaurant industry, I suppose, and at the age of sort of like 21, 22, was actually running that restaurant. I had about 40-ish employees in that restaurant, making decent money every day. And the directors of that business actually asked me if I wanted to open up a second location. So again, age of about 22, for them, on their behalf, opened up a second location, and did everything really. Everything, like, in terms of running the business, the day-to-day, the staff management, the money, all of that was sort of under my responsibility. So really, like, at that point in my life, I was balancing these two different restaurants, managing sort of 40, 50, 60 people at a time. And ultimately, I got to a point and I thought, actually, this is not bad, but I could probably do something here for myself, because I was doing everything. I was sat at the directors' table, I was in the directors' meetings, and it kind of become apparent to me that rather than the drive for the military that I thought I had, it was more the structure, the systems, and the development, kind of pushing myself to wanting to do more, essentially. So it was at that point that I realized that it wasn't necessarily just in the military that I could do that, and actually business had become a bit of a passion for me, running the business day to day, managing people, making money, and I decided that was for me. That's what I wanted to do. So I got to a point where I was going to start a business, right? I was going to do something, but I needed something to start, right? Because I wasn't sat there with a bunch of capital ready to invest in stuff. I wasn't techie. I wasn't, I didn't have that kind of background, but I was scrappy, right? I could get my hands dirty. I could jump in. I could do stuff, and I was prepared to work the hours, right? So there were a couple of things on the table, but for me, the obvious choice here was some sort of service business in which I could leverage other people's time to make me money, right? And that's when I started my cleaning company. So we started off, I started off a cleaning company. Initially, it was a bit of everything, right? So domestic, commercial, we did ovens, carpets, end of tenancies, you name it, we kind of did it, right? And it wasn't until that I realized that the domestic side of that wasn't making me an awful lot of money. It was a lot of headache. It was a lot of spinning your wheels, going around in circles, that I pulled away from that side of things and just focused in on the commercial side of the business. Now, may I just add, at this point, I was still working that job plus trying to get this business off the ground. So I didn't leave the job, and I wasn't sat on a bunch of money. I didn't go and actually clean physically myself, but I was employing people right from day one, and I was trying to find and win the contracts to then employ people to put them into. So I kind of balanced my time at that point between working 10, 12, 14-hour days for someone else. I would come home, I would have something to eat, I would go back into my office, and I would work till sort of like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, trying to get this up and off the ground. And eventually I did. Got it to a point where I brought in an operations manager, I brought in someone else into sales, and we were beginning to win work. And that was when I really came away from the full-time job and went into the business myself. Now, that sounds glamorous, really wasn't, right? So that was sort of just before COVID, sort of late, it was about sort of 2019-ish, that I came away from that, went into the business myself. I paid myself like less than minimum wage. It was absolutely nothing. Gave up a massive load, all the niceties in my life. I sold my nice cars. I sold my house. Moved back in with my parents. I, broke off a lot of things that were nice to have, just so I could go to zero. So I didn't have to take an awful lot of money out of the business. So I could keep pumping that into the business to sustainably grow it. So that was the big sort of leap for me. That was probably one of the hardest decisions of my life, to actually step away from secure, sustainable income that was not bad money into a position where I made basically nothing, to actually then go and run my business. So that's what I did, and I put all of my time and effort into sales, marketing, client acquisition at that point, and we began to get some traction. Right, we were bringing in contracts of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds, some sort of six-figure contracts as well, and the business was really starting to grow. So over that period of time, we took the business from kind of just starting to find our feet up to about 1.2 million, and that was all in the space of about 3 years. Now from there, the business kind of grew, and we began to introduce industrial cleaning into the mix. So that's more sort of like a one-off service, but a lot higher margins. Okay, so a lot more gross profit, more sort of one-off service that we did build periodicals into. But generally, what we then had was this cleaning company that was doing a lot of commercial cleaning, and then a big chunk of industrial cleaning as well. Now that grew and grew, and we built an office team. There was sort of a back end on it. We had salespeople, we had ops managers, we had more than sort of 200 staff at the time. And what I then did in the background, as if I wasn't busy enough, was start a little bit of a coaching and mentoring program, I guess, because I had a lot of other cleaning business owners coming to me asking me for sort of help and advice and other bits and pieces. And it got to a point where I thought, okay, I could probably make a little bit of income off of this, and just sort of have something running in the background, which we did, and it began to grow, should I say, and it was actually beginning to get a little bit of traction, and that's where we kind of poured gasoline on it, and applied those same sort of marketing and sales, client acquisition strategies that I'd done previously across 2 other businesses into there, and then took that business sort of stratospheric very, very quickly. So we essentially grew from like 8, 10, 12 sort of members up to about 200 members in the course of a year. Now that was more of an educational business, so we were running things like courses, in-person stuff. We had support groups. We were doing calls. There was sort of files and documents and that sort of stuff on the back end of that. But really, in terms of like getting those clients, it was the same stuff that I'd done previously, right? It was the same sort of marketing. It was the same sales stuff. It's the same client acquisition and business development strategies as a whole. So really took the lessons that I'd learned in sort of the early days of the restaurant side of things, which is obviously, it's a service in itself, but kind of a different industry. Then the service business as a whole, with the cleaning side of things, and we took that into more of an educational type of business more recently. Now, ultimately, in that process as well, sold the cleaning company. That happened sort of late 2023, because ultimately the educational business was really taking off, really taking a lot of my time. And if you're watching this and you're a business owner, we all know that time is our number one asset. And I was really sort of time poor because I was running the cleaning company, not running it in terms of like day to day, but I was having management meetings. I was making sure stuff was running as I should. There was the financial side of things. And then I had sort of 200 members on the other side that we had to A, sell and then B, fulfill for, right? And we were growing a team on that side of salespeople. We were introducing new services. And from a time perspective, you know, I was split. So it made my decision to sell the cleaning business and step away from that and put my time into the educational business. Now, where I stand right this second is I'm actually pivoting as I make this of sort of beginning of March. I'm actually pivoting myself and stepping away from that bigger structure and taking on sort of like a smaller group of clients for more sort of like one-on-one sort of coaching and mentoring, and building a larger thing in the background, which I'm not going to announce or sort of say in this video because we're still in the process of building that at the moment. But really what we want to be doing is helping service businesses and agencies get more clients, make more money, build better businesses. That's really our aim here. And we're going to do that through the strategies and the systems that I've kind of used previously to build those businesses. So that's a little bit about me, and I appreciate if you've made it to the end here of just sort of taking the time to listen and learn a little bit about my background. I could have been on here for hours talking about the ins and the outs of all the businesses and the ups and downs, etc. But really what I wanted to do is just give you a little bit of context about me, where I've come from, what I've done, and some of my experiences in the past in the business world. So thank you very much. As I said in the beginning, please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be trying to put out as much valuable content as I possibly can around sales, marketing, business acquisition as a whole, hopefully to help you grow your business, make more money, build better businesses, and just generally succeed in the world of business. So thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video.